right, good afternoon. A few more people just joined. We'll give it about another minute or so before we get started. And I see some of our fabulous compliance team on here. I'm going to ask for their help in keeping up with letting people in. And also, if there's anything that pops up in the chat, you could help with that, please. All right, so I have 12:30. Thank you all for joining us. I know it was short notice. This is for, if you're on this call, you are a VPK provider who, based on the 24-25 data, either received a status of incomplete or a performance metric of below expectation or unsatisfactory that makes you a provider on probation for this year. So there's the rule for VPK POP, I'm just going to refer to it as that, has been updated. So I'm going to go through the new requirements that the Division of Early Learning has put forth, as well as there's documents that have to be completed. And we're going to use WebAuthor for tracking those documents. And that's where you'll submit verification and the actual plans through WebAuthor. And I'll get to that. But to start with, I did want to I'm going to share my screen and show you where you can find the information on VPK accountability. So if you give me 1 second, let me just move some things around on my screen. Okay, so this is the what I always do is I'll just search VPK accountability, and it takes me to the first one that pops up is program accountability for the Division of Early Learning. And this is where you can find the performance metrics for this year. So under the 24-25 performance metric, it will open as an Excel spreadsheet. So you do have to download it. And I think I have quite a few things open. So the easiest way that, for me at least, to find the information for a specific provider, I just highlight the row, we'll enable content first. Filter, and then you can just use the drop downs to select your information. Probably could start with searching for elective. So you could just filter it so however you want to look at the information. And then what this report gives is it breaks down how the score was calculated. So the number of children served, the number of eligible children, and gives you the percentage, the quality score from the VPK program assessment, and then for the achievement points, the number of children that completed PM3 and the number of children who demonstrated the achievement, which is the score of the PM3 of 707 or higher. And so those points are calculated there. The learning gains, that is the PM3 score and the PM1 score. And then the growth rate for each child is calculated. And so the achievement points are the percentage of children who demonstrated sufficient learning gains. So it gives you the points for each category and the percentage of children that were counted in that, which this report then totals up the total, the points, and then gives the performance metric designation. So that is the where the information is found. If there's a really helpful guide in here as far as how the performance metrics were calculated. It goes into a lot more detail. And I can send this out afterwards if that would be helpful to anyone. But it breaks down the calculation of each score and how the points are totaled up to come up with a performance metric. The one other tool I just wanted to point out on here that would be helpful is if you, here's a performance metric and designation calculator. Again, it's an Excel spreadsheet. That when you scroll down, it gives the definition of each. And if you put your information in here, it'll actually break down the score for you. So it's on the other report where it just gives you the totals. This is just another way that you can run, if you want to run the data yourself, you'll enter the number of eligible children that scored the 707 or higher in PM3. It divides it by the number of eligible children and then the learning gains. So for the learning gains score, you can put in each child's information and it does the math for you, calculating the difference in the score and then calculates the number of days in between each assessment and determines the growth rate of each child. And then using that, those children that demonstrated the sufficient learning gains would go in this section right here over the total number. So that is how the metrics are calculated. Let's see, so I'm kind of going through things a little bit quickly. So now for providers who received an incomplete status, what that means is you did not get a score in each category. So let's look at this one here for incomplete. In this report here, it tells you what area you can see, what area you did not get a score. So this little number over here, the incomplete 2, if you scroll up here, it tells that this provider closed its business before the VPK program was complete. So that is the reason. And it gives a reason. There's a little number next to each incomplete that'll spell out the reason for the incomplete. So what I'm going to do now is let me minimize everything, and I'm going to go through the web author as far as a process where you will find how to submit the plans. And I'll put, I think, Audrey, if you're in here, can you put the link to register in the chat, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so when you go to log in, if you've been in WebAuthor before and you just don't remember your password, click on forget password and it will prompt you to reset your password. Let's hope that I set this up. Okay, so when you'll go in, you should have access to what's called the VPK POP module, and that is going to be for POP as well as incomplete. So you'll click on that. And what you'll do is you're going to start a new request. So some of this information pre-fills, you'll enter your provider ID, and then your information will, it's already in the WebAuthor system, so it will pop up. Anything that has the asterisk next to it is what you will need to complete. So your program type is going to be school year. If you do run a separate summer program. Each program has its own performance metric designation. So please be mindful, but for now, everything is going to be school year. You'll select your record, and I've already got one in here. So let me try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the incomplete first. And so if there are providers who have the designation of incomplete, you will submit the technical assistance plan for incomplete providers. So what you will enter in here is the reason that your program received an incomplete. So look back at the Excel spreadsheet that shows which area you did not receive a score in. And so if you didn't have sufficient number of children that completed PM3, then you would type that in here. So the strategies would be this coming year, how are you going to make efforts so that you will get a score in that category? So you'll just need to type out your strategy here. You will type your name, sign, save, and submit. And so for an incomplete provider, that is all you will need to do. You'll submit your technical assistance plan. It comes to us at the coalition. We will review it. And if there are some changes needed, we will send it back to you and reach out to talk through those changes and provide support to help you create the sufficient plan. If it's all good, we will approve it. You can begin implementing, and you'll get an email that says the plan is approved. So for technical assistance for incomplete providers, that is what you need to do. So any questions on the incomplete providers?
Jancy, I just want to let you know, right there in WebAuthor, I went ahead and added the wiki tab. So every provider should be able to see that wiki tab. I went ahead and added the FLDOE website you were showing where they can get those resources from. So if you click on,
Why is it trying to kick me out?
You have to cancel the record you're trying to create or save and submit it, one or the other. It's telling you, hey, by the way, you have unsaved work in here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You can hit
Thank
cancel
you.
or yeah.
All right, so let's cancel. We'll leave this. Go to wiki. Oh, perfect.
If you click on that, it should take you directly to another button, 2 buttons.
Okay, so here's another way.
So yeah, if they forget or lose how to get to those resources that you were showing in the beginning, it's there in WebAuthor as well once they get in.
Excellent, thank you. And that is also this the section over here for wiki. As we have more information available, that's where we'll add it as an attachment. So then you will have one place to go to, and you'll have that information available. Thank you. Are other questions? Okay, so for providers with the status of incomplete, if you don't have any questions, you're welcome to stay on, but this next section does not apply to you. So this would be for providers who received the designation of below expectations or unsatisfactory. You'll need to complete the VPK POP improvement plan. And the improvement plan has 3 components. You'll have to obtain a approved curriculum. You'll have to complete staff development and submit a communication plan saying how you're going to notify families that you are on an improvement plan and what that improvement plan entails. So I'll go through that here in WebAuthor. Same thing, you'll enter your provider ID. And this is where you'll select school year, your designation is whatever your designation is, we'll go with below expectations. And for this year, it's this improvement plan type is probation. It won't be until 27-28 that the good cause exemption will be an option, but we're building this for the future. So that's why you do see that. So I'll select probation. Then what you will do is select your curriculum. It is pre-filled on here. All of the VPK curriculums are added in here. And if you would like more information, they are listed on DEL's website under early learning. And then there's a whole selection of, here's all the VPK information here. So VPK curriculum has its own section. This is all of the VPK approved curriculums. So you can select, you'll have to select from one of these. So I'm just going to randomly pick Frog Street. So once I picked my curriculum, then the next prompt is the staff development plan. So each VPK staff member has to complete 20 hours of approved training. The staff member is the VPK director, lead instructor, and aide. If someone is only listed as a sub on your VPK app, they do not need to complete the training. So what you'll do is you will add each staff. And over here, the training, the approved training from DEL is already pre-filled in here. And the parentheses next to it is the number of hours. So just going to randomly pick some training here that I want to complete. And as I'm adding training and selecting over here, it's telling me the total number of hours. So it's doing the math for me, which is great. And you will do this for each employee. And so when you want to add the next staff, you will put their information in here. And same exact process. Select the training. I'm going to be a little bit short this time and pick a longer training. And so this one training is 20 hours. So it does the math. It tells me I already have 20 hours and that's all I will need to complete. So that's where you will enter your staff development plan. And this is just like the first step is submitting the plan and getting it approved. As you begin the implementation, you'll need to provide the documentation of completion. So you'll upload the certificates for each staff member showing verification that they have completed that training. The next section is the communication plan. And so the directions are in here, must notify families of the performance metric, sending. So this can be done in different ways. If you have an electronic system that you use to communicate with families directly, that can be used. You can send an email, you can send snail mail. And what you will do is type in here your communication plan, how you plan to do this, and then we ask that you submit an attachment of that communication into the section here, and you'll just do choose file and upload the document. Oh, it's already open, so I can't do that. So you'll actually upload the document, attach it here, and then submit it. Then what you'll sign here, print your name, sign, and then save and submit. So questions on that?
Jancy?
Yes.
Yes. You say the A do not have to take the training, right? Just the CD, the teacher, the sub does not have to take the training, correct?
The sub does not. The
Okay.
lead, the director, and the aide do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just trying to get through.
Jancy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I was on a call with another county yesterday, and if I missed it, I apologize. For the training also, I had heard that, yes, the 20 hours, but then also with a curriculum. We were told that they have to take the curriculum training, which those hours are not counted toward that 20, correct?
So it's not an easy yes, no answer, of course. So I apologize in advance. Let me see. Let me stop sharing for a second, and I want to go into the actual curriculum plan. So there's two different training if you're doing training for curriculum. There is an ongoing training component that will need to be done as far as like the ongoing can count towards the 20 hours. The initial curriculum training does not. And so I am trying to get clarification about what counts as initial training versus ongoing in regards to curriculum. And when I get that, I'll send it out. I'll put it in the wiki section of WebAuthor so that there is some sort of indication as to what counts as in initial versus ongoing. Sorry. So what we'll do here is I get through it here. I apologize. Give me one more second and I will get back to it. Okay, so once your plan is approved, and you have 30 days from the date the performance metric was released. So by September 13th, you must have a plan submitted to the coalition. And we will send out reminders and prompt you to really help you not miss any deadline. But the technical assistance plan for incomplete and the provider probation improvement plans, they have to be submitted by September 13th. Once your plan is approved, then that's when you would proceed with doing the staff development. And the implementation of curriculum, once you pick your curriculum, you will need to complete the curriculum training that is recommended by the curriculum publisher. So there's initial training for each of the curriculums. I don't have that information right now for each of the approved curriculums, but we'll work on getting that. So I apologize for that we don't have that information readily available right now. So there is initial training that staff will need to complete, and that initial training would need to be completed within 90 days of the performance metric release. So there are a lot of deadlines in this, and I'm working on a sort of a cheat sheet for the deadlines for everything. But the curriculum training, you do have 90 days to purchase it, do the initial training, and then you will begin implementation. And so the curriculum, and you'll need to submit verification for the training if you have, you want to submit, if there's an invoice, an agenda, a calendar invite, you can submit that to show the documentation, the proof of completion that it's scheduled. Complete the curriculum training. If there's certificates that are issued, any sort of evidence that the staff completed the training, and then implementation. This could be a fidelity checklist completed by the director or the curriculum developer. There's a couple different options there. If there is ongoing training completed related to the curriculum, that can count for the staff development hours. But again, I don't yet know how to differentiate between the initial curriculum training and ongoing curriculum training. So we'll definitely work on getting those answers. So the curriculum, the communication plan and the curriculum have a tighter deadline. The staff development, those 20 hours need to be completed before you end your VPK program year. So if your VPK classes end on May 25th, all of the 20 hours has to be completed by May 25th. So questions on that? Let me stop sharing so I can see.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, okay, I do have a question. So the time frame, you said up to 90 days to implement the curriculum?
Yes.
Okay. So I should just keep using my same curriculum now? I know like we have that assessment coming up. So it's like if I get into a new curriculum, I'm not going to be very sufficient at it right away. And I think my assessment window is like September 22nd to whatever.
Okay.
So is that what you recommend for me to use my regular curriculum or just try to implement it? Yeah, because I'm gonna choose one, and that was another thing. I've never used any of those curriculums. I'm used to Funshine, where they send like the box out with everything in it.
Right.
Does anybody know if any of those ones that are listed on the POP list do anything like that, or do they just send out a book?
So I am not sure. I'm going to see if any of my coworkers have some more familiarity with some of those curriculums. Some of them are pretty new.
Yeah, Jancy, I'll jump in with my limited knowledge. I think that I have. Heather, I've met with a few vendors recently, and I think they do have different formats of which they're offering.
Okay.
And so I think there's going to take a little bit of exploring on their websites to see what, the fit is going to be for you. But we are also working on collecting some of that information. Your quality impact specialist will be reaching out to you to have some of those conversations to help find that best fit for you. So I think if when they contact you what you're looking for, they're going to have some further information in the very near future to be able to help guide you to that.
Okay.
Okay.
So but my other question was should I just keep using the other curriculum, or what do you guys recommend for that? Because like I said, if I get it and implement it, within the next 15 days or whatever, I don't know how efficient I'll be in knowing the curriculum and how the day should flow with it. I mean, I know most of the stuff, but like I said,
Right.
it's just been, doing this for a long time, and I've used certain curriculum.
Yeah, and
So
you're
no.
talking about the class assessment, correct? And
Yes,
so
yeah.
the class assessment is measuring your interactions with children. And so I'm just going to say with my knowledge is children know when something different is happening.
Of course.
And so if you're changing something that maybe you don't have to change right then,
Mhm.
it could impact
Exactly.
their reactions, right? Which is
Yeah.
what we are watching for when we're going out and doing those assessments. So
course.
I'll just leave you with that to make a
Okay.
decision. But based on the timeline that Jancy's giving you, it sounds like you may be able just to stick with what you have
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Pam. You articulate far better than I do.
Jancy, hi.
Yes.
Can I share
Hi.
something again? Hi, it's Carrie with Kids City Corporate. Because I like I had mentioned, I've been on a couple other county calls, and pretty much what Pam had said, because I say the same thing she does. So so the call I was on, because the dates are sticking in my head. So Heather, hi Heather. the implementation they were telling the whole other schools was 12-12. And I only remember that because it's my son's birthday. So that's when you'll implement it. So they were suggesting probably to not change because you're going to have to get all the training. So like if you chose creative curriculum, they were using that one, or Frog Street, the teachers are going to have to get trained in that. And that's where they brought up the comment of the training for that new curriculum is not going to count toward those 20 hours. I have the word not very big in my notes right here. So we're encouraging all of our schools to wait until that implementation date too, because of class assessments and changes and all of that. So I hope that helps. Like I said, I've sat on 3 different county calls now, and just, you hear something different everywhere. So just hopefully that helps.
Right. So yeah, so everything, the obtaining the curriculum to schedule and complete that initial training, that's 90 days from the release date. And then it's the implementation is 120. So absolutely, use what you're comfortable with. And as you do the training and begin implementing, then hopefully you and your teachers, your educators will become comfortable with the newer curriculum too. And I see there's a couple questions in chat, and thank you so much. I see they're getting answered as we go. Did I answer all of them? Or are there still questions that need to be
Yeah, see, there's one that I'm actually typing right now. That's probably good for the group. The question is, the curriculum advisor that I spoke with wanted me to ask if payment plans are allowed as long as the center is implementing current curriculum within the 90-day time frame.
So that's a great question that I have not heard before.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking. So if you want to work that out with the curriculum company and they're willing to do a payment plan, you would just submit the invoice and then what the agreement is, how many months the payment will be stretched out for, and that is sufficient to show that you've obtained the curriculum. And I do see a question. The approved curriculum list for providers on probation is different than other VPK. So there is not an approved curriculum list, and there has not been for VPK providers not on probation. So there's only a curriculum requirement for VPK providers on probation. Let's see, I see the question about the 20 hours. It needs to be completed by the end of the program year. If training has been completed after July 1st of this year, so maybe you did some summer learning, that can count towards the 20 hours, but it has to be on that approved training list. Other questions? Yes, Susan, I see a hand up.
Yes, I do have a question. Is this going to be recorded in case we want to share it with coworkers that might have missed it?
It is being recorded, and it will give me some time to get it edited and added to our website. But yes, definitely we'll share that.
Thank you. That way we can kind of go back over if we feel like we missed some information.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I guess let me pose a question to you all. How we can best support you as you're going through the web author and uploading the documentation. If you all get stuck, would it be helpful if we hosted office hours where you could just, we'd be available virtually. You could come, you could ask us questions. Or would you prefer to reach out to your compliance specialist to try to troubleshoot that way? Because sometimes I know it's helpful. Like I attend a DEL host variety of office hours. I try to attend them all, even if I don't have a question. Somebody else usually thinks of something really good. So what would work best for you all?
I'd like the office hours.
Okay. All right. And for those who are around with ARPA, we hosted those. They were sporadically attended as far as, some people were regulars and some kind of popped up here and there. So, okay. So we'll get those scheduled, and we'll probably do it closer to, like, as the deadlines come up for submission. We'll host one in the next few weeks because, again, these plans have to be submitted by September 13th. So we'll get one on the books. So if you do run into issues with WebAuthor, we are here to support you. The question, okay, will the NACI conference in November count towards the 20 hours? Let me just double check to see. So it's coaching and technical assistance, ongoing curriculum, Educator Academy, Teachstone, Florida Early Childhood Professional Development Registry, regional facility. So it doesn't, I don't see it on the list. So no, a conference like that does not count towards the 20 hours. The specific trainings for It's Okay to Play in VPK. I'll let Pam take that one because I know she's got a schedule made out already, and so she'll talk through registration.
Yes, so we do have the It's Okay to Play VPK trainings currently posted on the website that are available for you to register for. As we see the demand, we will open up more if needed.
Okay, thank you. Grants available to purchase new curriculum. As of this time, ELC is not facilitating any grants. I'm not aware of any, but if we do get information that there is something available, we will send it out to everyone. And oh, I'm sorry, I'm cutting in and out for someone. Hopefully it's not everyone, but I'll send the notes out along with the directions to help to get into WebAuthor to get started. Other questions? Okay, so you made things popping up in the chat. What are options if you're unable to purchase a new curriculum? So the purchase of a new curriculum is required as part of the improvement plan. For not completing the improvement plan refers back to the deliverables in the VPK contract. So it is grounds for termination of the contract for failure to implement the improvement plan. Other questions?
The other question I have is the how we inform the parents. I personally, I literally only have like 4 VPK students.
Okay.
Can I verbally tell them, or can I write a thing and have them sign it, or just put a note up, or put that note up and then upload that note?
So it does need to be to the families, and I just want to look it up so I make sure I give you the right information. Sorry, I don't have this whole section memorized just yet, but I'm sure I will at some point in the near future. Where is that communication plan section? Oh, here we go. So here's the guidance from DEL. The communication plan must notify the families of children enrolled, and it must occur in writing and be provided to families no later than 14 calendar days after your plan is approved. So it does need to be in writing. And you do have to give something, whether it's an email, a paper, to each family. saying what the plan is. And they do clarify in here too, just putting it on a website or social media is not sufficient. That does not count as notifying all families. It has to be noticed to the families. But if you put it on your website and send each family a link to that, that counts. But in your
How would we
instance,
upload that to you guys? You wouldn't, like, how would that work with
so you would need to upload a copy. Like, what if you email it to the
whatever the
family?
link
You would
is?
just send
Okay.
us a copy of the email with the link. Yeah, if
Okay.
that could be done that way.
Okay.
If you use another like a electronic sign in, sign out, and you notify him through there, just upload a screenshot or print out verification that messaging was sent, and that's sufficient as well.
Okay.
Other questions?
There's a hand up, Susan Hokazuski.
Susan, did we get your question already? Oh, you're on mute.
No, I did not mean to raise my hand. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. All right, so I'm going to make a note to myself to set up office hours. And if you do have questions, reach out to, you can reach out to your compliance specialist, reach out to me. If there's questions specific to training, quality impact will be best suited to assist you with that. And right now, the strongest thing I would encourage you to start with, because if we're looking at deadlines, start looking at curriculums and work on obtaining the curriculum and then the sending of the communication plan to families too. Those are the ones that are going to come up due first. So that's where I encourage you to focus your energy now. All right. So
I don't know if you want to mention that we'll probably be sending out those letters today.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It takes a whole group to get things done and to remind me. So thank you for that. Yes. So one of the requirements of the coalition is to provide notice to providers. So this afternoon or tomorrow morning, you'll just be getting, I think we're going to do it through DocuSign, which is relatively new to me, but you'll be getting an email with a notice. And we just ask that you sign acknowledging that you received the notice from the coalition so that we can meet our requirement. What else did I forget for my great team here and coworkers?
I think you've covered it all.
Okay, perfect. So I also sent out, we are hosting sort of a Q&A session Friday for all VPK providers about the performance metric, really just walking through what we did to start out today's meeting of where to find the information. You're welcome to attend, but it would be probably redundant. So if you want that hour of your time back, feel free to take it. We will not be offended.
And Jancy, I want to add that you guys can create your profiles in WebAuthor if you do not have it. You do not have to do the application part yet or the new, you can actually just create the account because you'll have access to that wiki and you could read through documents. So I encourage you to use that link that we put in the training to either sign in or create your account, and at least you have access to the resources on the top where it says wiki, and we'll keep adding stuff there even if you're not ready to submit your plan.
Thank you. I see a question in the chat if you want to cancel your contract rather than have it taken away. Yes, there's a section of the contract that addresses the voluntary termination of your contract. You would need to give the coalition notice in writing at least 30 days in advance and submit the records going back, all of your records going back 5 years to stay in good standing with the coalition and eligible to contract in the future. I do not know if the performance metric designation would carry forward. So like theoretically, if you wanted to skip a year and then contract for 26, 27, I don't know if that performance metric would carry forward. Just don't know. We don't have that on any guidance on that yet. Is there a time limit you can be on probation? So yes, you can be, if you're on probation for 3 consecutive years, then you have to apply for a good cause exemption. And there's a whole nother form for that we haven't created yet, because the good cause exemption won't come into play till 27, 28. So hopefully no one will be there at that time. But yes, you can be on probation, and then if it's 3 consecutive years, you have to apply for good cause exemption and get approval from, I believe the Division of Early Learning is still going to hold the reins on the good cause exemption approvals.
So if we do well this year, or the kids do well, rather say, I mean, we do better implementing and all that stuff, we are off of it after the kids show improvement?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
if you, based on the work that's done this year, if your performance designation is meets expectation or higher, you are off probation.
Okay. And then one other question I have. Is this the first year they started doing this again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's all new. So
Okay, because I was like they would do it the year, and I like another thing I wanted to ask about is like with the kids doing it on this tablet now. My kids struggle with it. We don't have tablets in our center. At least 3 of my kids were like no electronics at home that did it. And I know like once they start, they're looking at me and want me to say something, and I'm just like, I can't say anything. So I'll watch them look at it, choose the right answer, and then the ding don't come quick enough for them, and they start switching, and I can't say you had the right answer first. So it's
yeah.
like I sit there and I'm just like, but I don't like something like that. We need to maybe have a a meeting about too, to find out what we can do to help the kids with that. Like at one point I had tablets in my class, but those kids turned crazy, and I was like, no more. And that was like 3 years ago, so I stopped.
Right.
I don't know if they have something that they can recommend, like that's similar to the VPK thing, where the kids can get some practice during the year. Not saying the actual thing, but just so they can practice here, like you know once or twice or something. Because like I said, I handed a tablet to one kid, he didn't even know what to do. Like he has
Right.
no
So
phone, nothing.
so when you do when children, because there's a practice test, so if kids fail the practice test, you can document that in Renaissance as non-participation status, meaning that child
And
could
that's
not
crazy.
complete.
Are we not allowed to talk to them at the practice time?
Oh, that's a question I'm
I
gonna
thought
have
that's
to
where we're
look back.
practicing so I can tell them what to do. I
I
tell them,
know,
like they don't know what I tell them.
right. I know on that when you completed the training in Renaissance and there were those 2 forms you had to sign. One of them was a prohibited behaviors list.
Mm-hmm.
I would refer back to that.
Have it
I
right
don't have
here.
it. I don't have it in front of me, and I don't know if that addresses the practice tests at all.
Yeah, I don't know that it did. I literally just did it not too long ago. So I remember reading over it. I have it in my class on my table. But
I
I
know
definitely, like, if I don't tell them, how are they going to know?
right, and I've looked at hundreds of them over the last few weeks, and I didn't read it. I just looked to make sure I all signed in the right spot. So
Yeah.
sorry. I know
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
So when I was a director, we had that same issue with some of our kids, and we would do their classwork using that point to finger. So like we would do things on like the whiteboard and have them point to the answer so they get used to doing that point action for the answer. So we did it, fine motor. And then eventually when they started doing the tablet and it would talk to them and ask them the question, they knew to touch it.
Okay. It's a good idea.
Absolutely. Thank you. I did see, is there a decrease in payment? No, there is no decrease in payment there's no change in VPK payments. And I did want to mention too, that the way they've set up the calculations that, yes, some kids are going to struggle with that testing, and that's why it balances out the learning gains and the achievement. So if you have a child that really struggles in the beginning of the year but made tremendous improvement, they may not hit that 707 score to count towards achievement, but they will definitely meet their learning gains score and count towards that. So they try to balance it out with the way they set up the math. Other questions? Not seeing anything. All right, well, I will stay on for just a few more minutes in case someone thinks of a question they want to ask. Otherwise, we will be sending out the follow-up email and resources. Some of them, as we get them written, we will be sending them out. So I appreciate your patience in advance. Hope y'all have a great rest of the day. Oh, yes.
I read the prohibited activities and it does not mention the practice test at all.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is WebAuthor available now? Yes. Audrey put the link into the chat where you can log in. And again, if you have not had an account, you'll register. If you have used WebAuthor before, whether it's for ARPA or for registering for training, you'll just need to reset your password. Or do the forgot password, sorry. Forgot password.
I don't even think you have to do that. I think you just have to hit the sign in versus register. You use the same link I put in the chat, but there's one button for register, that's for new people, and there's one button for sign in. But if you sign in on any other bookmark link you've used in the past for WebAuthor, it won't give you access to this module. So make sure you use the link in the chat.
Okay, thank you. And I just have to say thank you to Audrey. She's really busted her butt to get this all put together in a very short time frame. So,
and I'm going to apologize.
Done.
Yeah, I'm going to apologize in advance for any hiccups because we've tried to test and make sure everything works as we intend it to. But I do think it's going to be easier for you guys to be able to upload your proof and things, and it'll also help us because we'll have everything in one location and not have to look at emails and pieces of paper. So hopefully you guys like it.
All right, good deal. We'll hope y'all have a great rest of the day. And like I said, you can ignore the meeting that's scheduled for Friday if you have that calendar invite. It's going to be the same information, probably gone over a lot quicker. If you think of questions between now and then, though, feel free to reach out. We are absolutely here to support you in getting all of this done so that next year will be meets expectation and above.
Where they put the wheelchair on and then subtracted it.
All right. I'm going to head out then. Thank you.